Welcome to the Movie Talk Show with Dave D.C. Callari from DC Unboxed and from the Screenwriter's Room, the screenwriter himself, Rob Alvarenga. Now, here is your host, Joe Zapata.
What's up, guys? Another week of movie talk, and this week we had The Punisher, One Last Kill review. We're going to talk about that, but first, let's introduce the team. Dave DC Callari, how you doing, Dave?
Hello, what's up?
What's up? And of course, screenwriter Rob Alvarenga. What's up, Robbie?
What's going on, fellas? Happy to be here.
Yeah, another week. All right, guys. So let's talk first. December 7th, 2025, we had Predator Badlands, and great movie, one of my favorite movies of the year. And before that was Prey. That actually, you know, we had the Killer Killers or the cartoon, and then we had the Prey. And now it looks like, and I thought Dan would be, because at the way Predator Badlands ends, you thought they were going to do the sequel right away, but he's going first. Prey 2 is going to happen. And Naru's her name, I believe, right? Naru is her name in that. Naru is going to be returning, and they're going to continue that story. So, you know what? I'll start off with you, Rob. Are you excited for a Prey 2?
Yeah. I mean, you know, the Prey, the first one was just like such an awesome surprise, just similar to like what Badlands is. The only difference was that Prey never got the theatrical release that I think we all agreed should have received. So I thought that movie was awesome. Just the concept alone, we always knew that the Predators have, you know, visited, you know, Earth, has been kind of part of like our history, you know, unbeknownst to, you know, the world really. So it's really cool that they took it from like, you know, an indigenous point of view. And I just thought that that whole, you know, just the natives versus the Predator was just such an awesome concept, and they pulled it off. The way it ended too, it let for a sequel as well, because you remember, you know, after, you know, that Predator died, spoiler, you know, more came. So it's like, you know, so now you just got the native tribe basically up against like I don't know how many Predators. So it'd be interesting to see like where do they, you know, do they pick up like immediately where that movie ended off? Because expect a lot of carnage with that. I wonder if they're gonna marry Badlands, because who's to say that what happened with Badlands was not happening when the story with Prey was happening? Correct. So, you know, that'd be kind of cool. Maybe we'll see, you know, Dead come back in this one. Who knows? But you know, if it's the same team, which I think nothing's changed really, it should be great. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to it. Dave, do you like obviously Predator Badlands and Prey? You like that also? What did you think?
I think I'm going to rain on everyone's parade right now.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me.
No, but I liked Prey. I thought it was great, and I thought Badlands was fantastic. But if we look at, and we always know that you're going to get a bunch of window-licking Predator lore experts to pop in when they don't like something. But if you look at the original Predator and when that happened, and then Predator 2 happened in the far-flung future of 1997, but there was still like a 10-year gap in a completely different section of the world. And all the other Predator stuff we got over time, it doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of like how they've laid out the Predator stories to have a returning cast. Probably fairly soon after a Predator has been to whatever one of the hunts. And I don't see why they would come back, because like, well, we already got our butts kicked. So what do we, they're not like a revenge species. So I don't love the idea totally when I kind of deconstruct it like that, but good movie. So I don't know, maybe they're going to prove me wrong. Maybe put Danny Glover in. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I do hear that,
that, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger is supposed to be in talks to come back, but I think that's for Badlands. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure. But they're supposed to be bringing him back somehow, some way, apparently.
It seems like they have a plan. I think that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. You know, I think they, you know, when Prey was done and, you know, the success came along with it, and then Badlands happened, I think they started like really trying to figure out how to marry the two. That's just the vibe I get. I could be completely wrong, but it seems to me like there is something, there's a vision in place for this.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we'll see when that comes out, and we'll go from there, you know. All right, guys. The next topic I wanted to talk about was a classic that was actually, I didn't know it was I think it was a 1958 movie originally, was the first Fly movie. And then obviously we had the 86 classic with, you know, what's the guy's name?
Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum, yes, 86 classic. And then we had another one, Fly 2. According to reports that writer-director J.T. Molnar is attached for a 2028 release of a reboot of The Fly. Now, I hear there's also rumors that Adam Driver may be attached. I don't know. These are the rumors going around. Dave, in a world with reboots and reshoots and all this bullshit, what do you think? Do you want to see The Fly again coming back?
Well, they're thinking of rebooting my movie again. So
that's great.
What do you
I
think?
don't know. It's almost like John Carpenter's The Thing, right? Like you could redo it, but is it going to be anything close to as good as that was?
Mm-hmm.
You know, The Fly wasn't necessarily like a classic, but it definitely, I think, holds a particular place in the genre, especially for the time period. Listen, it could be great, and I have no problem with Adam Driver. I just still want to see something new. Another reboot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even if it's great, it's just like, well, all right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I love the 86 classic Jeff Goldblum one because when he turned it a fly and everything else, as a young kid watching that, I was pretty, shook about that when he turned. I was like, whoa, man.
It's like if they redid An American Werewolf in London. It may look better, but you're still not going to get better than the original full transformation scene.
Correct. That was crazy.
Yeah.
100%. Rob, The Fly reboot. What do you think about this?
No. Sorry, I'm not on board. So, I feel a certain way when it comes to I think everybody knows that's been following us for a little bit. I feel a certain way about sequels, reboots, reimaginings, but now we're talking about horror. And we're talking about at that, The Fly, the Jeff Goldblum Fly. That's one of my top horror movies, like of all time.
Really?
Because, for me, the reason why is because you revisit that movie. Mm-hmm. That movie is unnerving and gross.
Yes.
And it's Cronenberg. It's one of those movies where it's just like it's just the imagery is just so off the wall and just weird and just like that effect. I just don't see anyone doing that now. This is one of those movies that similar to some of these other movies we talk about that came out in the 80s. Some of these movies could only have been done in the 80s because that's when they were kind of pushing. Last time I remember, they really were pushing limits when it comes to that stuff. And The Fly is one of them. That's the reason why a lot of people, I would say majority of people, I would venture to guess, feel like that movie is so much superior to the one that came out in the 50s. Aside from just like old school cinemaphile people, you gotta admit that movie is just so superior to what the original concept was. Now, don't get me wrong, the original one, it's a classic in itself, but that one kind of just redefined it in such a twisted way. And so this is a reboot. They're not going to do the 1950 version. They're going to try and reboot the 80 version. So, you just can't, then it can't be done, in my opinion, because the stuff that they got away with in the 80s movie, they're just not going to do it for this one. They want commercial success. They, we would talk about like a horror renaissance, but I don't think any of these like newer horror movies are pushing against those images that we remember that was so disturbing that came out in the 80s. So for that reason alone, I just don't see how this works, unless you completely come up with something completely different from what I'm imagining they're going to do. I'm always open-minded. I could be surprised, but I don't see it. I know they're going to go try and redo Jeff Goldblum. That's why they got Adam Driver, so it's like, similar looking gentlemen. So it's like,
yes,
come on. I see what you're doing already. It's not going to work.
Yeah. Something about those pods that they went into to transform. That pod is stuck in my memory as seen as a child, that fly pod that they would go into. I mean, it does hold a special place, that movie, 100%.
They can't do the fly vomit again. I mean,
That's true. That's true. 100%. But yes, so they're apparently doing the Fly reboot. So we will wait and see what happens. This next topic I thought was really interesting because I didn't know if I heard this rumor before, but now it's actually officially happening. There's going to be a Bane versus Deathstroke movie, and it's in the works. Okay. I believe this is going to be probably DC's version of Wolverine and Deadpool. That's my opinion. I think that's what they're trying to hit for. According to reports, Superbad's director
Greg Bertolo.
Greg Matola, yes, he was working with Peacemaker. He did the Peacemaker, so he knows everything. He knows James Gunn's way of working everything. Apparently, it's in the works. They're gonna do it. Bane versus Deathstroke. Dave, I wanted to ask you: is this something you would be interested in watching?
Yeah, if you do it right, because like we got this stupid Looney Tunes version of Bane in the Schumacher movies.
Yes.
It's like everything about that was kind of ridiculous, including his little like disguise of his Inspector Gadget jacket, his little fedora. Like no one's gonna notice. And then while the Christopher Nolan version was cool, it was still just a very big departure from what they could probably do now.
Yes.
And we got a little bit of a glimpse at Deathstroke at the end of what's Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Joe Manganiello.
Joe Manganiello. So, I mean, listen, DC's doing some good things. So it seems a little strange that you'd have to, like, whatever this Versus movie is going to be, like how much of it is going to be exposition on who we know who these characters are, but I feel like I don't think that they're enough, even for comic fans, really, to be like, just give us the movie and just throw us in the middle. I think we'd want to see some of like I said, we've already gotten 2 iterations of Bane. Which one are you going to give us here? So I'm not really sure how it's going to work, and I'm kind of surprised that they're going to do something like this right away. But
yeah,
anything would be good.
Anything good. It's not going to make Deadpool Wolverine money. I bet you it might make 600 million, maybe. I guess something like that. I don't know. I think the best Deathstroke we got actually was from Arrow with Manu Bennett. I think played him.
Yeah.
I think that was a really great Deathstroke because we didn't get to really see much of Joe, Manganiello, whatever his name was. And I think it's going to be really hard to make a comic accurate Bane. I think Tom Hardy played the best Bane we got.
That's the best you can get away with. So
yes,
but with everything else we've gotten to be so much closer to the books.
Yes, 100%. Rob, what do you think? Bane versus Deathstroke. Do you think this works?
I want to say yes. I really do.
Okay.
Because I do like those 2 characters, but I mean, so I was kind of reading some of the synopses. As much as you could get at this early stage of the project, something to the effect of a buddy movie, but dealing with anti-heroes.
Okay.
Anti-heroes, I mean, they're villains. These are bad guys. There's no redeeming qualities when it comes to them. You compared it with, Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool is not always a good guy, but he's got the Ryan Reynolds charismatic thing, and he does do good things.
Yes.
These guys are not known to do any good things. So what's the storyline? I guess that's really what it comes down to. What are we doing here? So you're gonna give me a buddy movie with 2 villains, and I'm sure they'll fight each other, but then they're gonna come together to some common goal to get what they want. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I don't, it's James Gunn. I know he loves, deconstructing these like really flawed characters that just come out of nowhere, and he just makes these like amazing stories. It just makes it work. So for that reason alone, I'm holding a little bit of judgment on this completely. But the concept alone is just, I don't know. It's like, and there's no Batman, by the way. So, Clayface has his own thing because it's a true horror kind of like, you could see this thing happening without a Batman. These 2 guys, I think you need Batman, for this. So if you're gonna take him out completely, what are we doing? Are we doing like a Sony version, kind of like the version for what Sony was trying to do with Spider-Man without Spider-Man? Because it didn't really work out for them.
No, exactly. It's gonna be really hard to cast someone for Bane. I can tell you that, because I don't know. Tom Hardy was different, in Nolan's world, but I don't know what they're gonna do here, because Gunn likes to push the envelope with some of these, the way he makes these characters look. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird, man. And I was surprised they were doing it, but it is coming. So apparently they are going to do it. So, all right, guys. All right. The last and final topic we're going to talk about is Punisher, One Last Kill review. And, that debuted last night. I got to watch it. Really really one of the best things I saw. I mean, the one problem I had was I wanted more. I wanted more. I just kept on going, and John Berthel is without a doubt the best Punisher I've ever seen on TV. I think he knocks it out of the park. He knows how to play that role. Does a great job with everything he does. I will never look at a pen. I'm going to look at a pen differently.
Yeah.
I didn't think you can kill someone and stab someone that many times with a pen. And let me tell you that the first scene with the dog, let me tell you, I did not think Disney would go there. But once they went there, I said, oh shit, all bets are off now. And when someone hurts an animal in a movie, people go fucking nuts.
Yeah. Ask John Wick.
And I was waiting for him to die. I was waiting for him. There was a line waiting for him to die. Great, dark, gritty. It was just action was phenomenal. Dave, I'll start with you. What did you think of Punisher?
Overall, I thought it was really good. I do wish it had been a little bit longer.
Yep.
The crime family exposition in the beginning was interesting. The thing, I watched it like twice already because I will watch it again. And I know I'm going to enjoy it more upon further viewing.
Yep.
While we got to see a really detailed picture of what Frank experiences, I guess when he's by himself or when he presumably has nothing left to do.
Yes.
I feel like we didn't get any kinds of glimpses of that in the Netflix show. When we kind of maybe could have at the end of season 2 when he just shows up and just kills the gangs in his full Punisher getup. And then when we see him in Daredevil, he's hanging out in his little basement hideout and he looks like he's fine.
Yeah.
So my only issue was like, how did we get to this Frank? How did we get from the Frank from Born Again season 1, and how does he end up here? And how does this lady find him?
Yes.
And also, did Curtis die in season 2? Or is he just seeing him?
I thought he did.
I don't remember. And I'm rewatching season 2, and we're only back up to like episode 8, so I don't.
Yeah, I forgot. I gotta rewatch that Punisher. Yeah, it was absolutely. I thought the same thing you did.
Those are minor nitpicks. Like, it's still set up. The things you want to see the Punisher do, he did.
Yes, 100%. Killing paper. And I thought the same thing you did. Like, we had in the beginning, we had a different Punisher. How we left Born Again season 2 or season 1, and how he was today. Different mindset, I guess. Maybe he had some PSD. Going back and thinking about everything. I don't know. But Rob, you saw the episode. What did you think about it?
I loved it. I really thought that the Punisher really showed that Ma Ganouch, who's the boss. So okay, so a few things. This the things I took away. I'll get the easy stuff out of the way.
Okay.
First, one is the action. They really took a page out of the movie The Raid for this one, and I love that because when I think about like what that movie really jump started when it comes to like this like one person versus like just an army kind of like setup. So wouldn't it be great to have the Punisher in that setup? And they gave it to us. So it was awesome. I mean, this guy's fighting with his legs literally on fire.
Yeah.
It's just like it was brutal, awesome. And all that whole sequence is just freaking amazing. Now the things that I was surprised that I took away from this is that it really those for me, because I was just really looking at the storyline. The thing with the world of the Punisher is actually really, really dark and a lot of times pretty damn depressing because the guy only knows how to do one thing, and that's kill. And he's gonna go on this never-ending quest, not just for justice, because that's not really what the Punisher is. The Punisher is literally on a forever quest for punishment of people that he feels like just are better off dead than have them running around, doing anything. He says as much, in his time with Daredevil. So, that kind of bleak trajectory, it's only going to end in one way or the other. Either someone kills him, or when it's all said and done, he might off himself, which he nearly does in this story. The thing that that was a really cool question that was brought up in this show was that what if the Punisher accomplished his goal, which he did finally, kill the people that was responsible for the murder of his family?
Mm-hmm.
He did that,
Mm-hmm.
and forget the results of that, because the whole Little Sicily, the whole town is in chaos because the crime family was basically holding that place together.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that power vacuum, he doesn't care. Everybody's basically there's crime happening all around him, but his purpose is done.
Yeah.
And that's where we begin with Frank, just like, okay, what do I do now? What is my purpose? My purpose up to this point was to get these people that killed my family, that killed my children.
Mm-hmm.
And without that, who is he? And for a while, he was just like, I'm nobody. That's why he was just literally losing his mind. Obviously he's a combat veteran, so PTSD is going to kick in because where he's comfortable at is the conflict, the battle.
Yep.
And now there's no more battles to be fought. So he nearly loses whatever of humanity he has left, and what brings him back? Like the little girl, which was a real touching moment where he saves what was it, the pizza shop owner, his life, and saves his daughter, and daughter gives him like this little rose, and it just like you see the imagery of his daughter, and it's like regaining his purpose again.
Yep.
So it's really cool angle that they came across, and to me it spoke to a lot of I think it was like a homage to like veterans that are going through PTSD. So I would imagine when they see this thing, there'll be a lot of like, hey brother, I know what you're going through. It's like, the battle's done, but the battle's still going on in my mind. So I thought that was a really cool, emotional, punch that this show gave us on top of all the action. But then it ends. It ends so quickly. And I'll just say that the last image of the show, that one that we're looking at right now, probably one of the most satisfying kills he's ever had, because seriously, that guy that killed that dog, fuck that guy. That guy needed to die right away. I'm glad that we actually got to at least see that Frank put a bullet in his head, because you just don't kill puppies like that.
No, 100%. So now this leads us to Spider-Man. He's sort of discovered his purpose, and now this is going to lead us right into a brand new day. So, I thought it was really great. How everything was.
He's gonna lose the beard too. I thought he looked really cool that way. So now they gotta clean him up, for the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, in the comics he has the beard, and he doesn't. It's like back and forth, right? I'm not too familiar. Sometimes he has it, sometimes he doesn't. Do you know, Rob?
Yeah, he does. I just pick a lane.
Yeah, because he was like dirty, and then he's all geared up. He's got the sweet fade. I'm like, yo,
yeah,
he does have the sweet fade. Exactly. Yeah. I did like in the beginning, how they did the special presentation. It reminded me of like back as a kid, like this 70s.
Oh, the HBO presentation.
Yeah. Special presentation. They did that. I loved how they did that. Bring you back a special. Now they said this is the last special presentation, but I guess we'll wait and see for a while.
Oh, and before I forget, Dave, look, man. I mean, they didn't give us the theme. They didn't give us a song.
Yeah,
that's right. They didn't. They gave us too much Danzig.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was fine when it got all word and distorted, but that went on for too long. It's like, I get it.
Right.
Give me one measure of that. It's fine.
Yeah.
My CD melted in real time.
Yeah. Well, it was a great show. I loved it. I loved the show. I'm going to probably rewatch it, and I am going to go back and see some of the Punisher seasons, but great. I mean, John Bernthal is a great actor. He is.
And he wrote this thing. He helped write this thing too.
He helped write this thing. Yes.
I'm surprised the amount of people I see in the comments. It's not a lot, but it's more than one. They're like, oh, he just does the same thing every time for the Punisher. I'm like, well, first of all, the character in and of itself doesn't have a ton of depth, but when he has to give us something different, I feel that he does.
Yes. I saw people complaining when he fell off the roof and landed on that like air conditioner.
Oh, yeah.
People complaining, it's like, oh, it looks like a computer cutscene, like video game cutscene, because the way I guess the effects didn't really work that great. I guess I don't know.
All they had, that was a real stunt. They just did the face replacement.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I hate people. I hate people. I hate the fact that AI exists because now everyone's like, "Go look stupid." You know what? You look stupid.
That's right. That's right. But subscribe and like. Make sure you do that first.
Yeah.
All right. So as long as you get from the show, we hate people.
Yes.
All right, guys. So let's go and answer some questions, and then we'll wrap it up here. So let me just go to the question part right over here. This one is from Christina Y, and she says, "Hey Joe, may the fourth be with you. I know you're a big Star Wars fan. Is it true your son was named after George Lucas?" Yes, that is true. Actually, I'm going to give you two. I'm going to actually give you another hint. My son's name is Lucas, after George Lucas, and I say, always say, Luke, I'm your father. His middle name is Hayden, after Hayden Christensen. So there's another little tidbit for you. My son's middle name is Hayden, for Hayden Christensen.
I'm surprised you didn't give him middle name Order 66 or something.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, but that's his name, Lucas Hayden Zapata. That's his name. So there you go, guys. There you go, Christina. That's his name. All right. Tim D from Garfield, New Jersey says, Dave, is Ghostbusters considered a horror film or comedy film? Where would you categorize it?
Technically, I see it's always categorized as the horror comedy, and some people even categorize it as like a special effects driven comedy. So it's, aside from the librarian scare in the beginning, it's like not that scary, but it's probably the scariest of the four. But it's not really, it's not really horror. I think it kind of builds some tension, but it never at any point are you like, ooh, super spooky.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Rob, where do you categorize it?
I think it's more of a comedy than anything, because I mean, true, with horror you need to have a monster in it, and technically it has plenty for it, so it's a nice little mashup there. But even if I remember correctly, even with the promotions of the original movie, it just felt like it's a comedy. It's gonna be funny.
100%. All right, next one is Greg R from Passaic, New Jersey, and he says, "Hey Rob, I'm also a horror writer. It is always hard for me to create suspense without revealing too much too early. Not sure if you know what I mean. Thanks again. You guys rock."
Yeah, I do know what you mean. And honestly, it's going to take some practice for you to kind of like perfect that balance. Basically, the hints that I'll give you is, I think I used this in a previous show. It's like, it's the person that's like, doing the talking, and the other person is not really saying too much. Like, okay, there's an imbalance there. What's going on? There's something not being said, or just like behaviors that just really cannot be explained. And it's creating that mystery. You know what's going to happen. You know what's going to jump out the closet. But it's the setup, Usually either it's nobody knows what's going to happen and things weird just start happening to these characters, or one person really knows what's happening and they're trying to stay in behind the scenes and let things play out. So, there's different ways to do that. I'm just giving you examples, but it's always like the more you could show and take back on like talking about it, show more, speak less, and you'll find your notch to create that suspense.
Okay. Got it. Last one over here we got is Roger T from Montclair, New Jersey. Says, "Hey Dave, Charles Dutton would make a great Panthro. Do you guys know who voiced the original character in cartoon? Cliff Huxtable's dad from Cosby Show. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
Oh,
Cliff Huxtable's dad from the Cosby Show was the original voice. Yeah. I did not know. You knew that, Rob?
I knew it wasn't Charles S. Dutton, but obviously, I know Dave has an affinity for him.
Yeah, from rock and everything. But that was it.
Alien 3. Don't forget.
No, badass.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's it. I got to wrap up here a little bit early. So we will see you guys next week. Another great show. See you guys next week, guys.
Later, fellas.
You got it, brother.
Started from nothing. Jersey streets, we owned it. Jay-Z pumping iron. Body builder coding. Gears on the